I decided to have a bit of fun with the lighting and just give it a little bit of ambiance. Excuse me while I die. Oh, I got corona, don't judge me. Hey guys, it's Dan here from the Viddyoze team. Not in the Viddyoze HQ this time, working from home. I say working from home, I've been quarantined, I've been diagnosed, I've done a test, I've stuck the thing down my throat. Not like that, Tom. I stuck the swab, I did the nose, and yeah, I got a positive back. Now, despite what it sounds like, it's not positive. It's f***ing horrendous. Happy f***ing New Year. Not been so good so far. So yeah, I'm recording this one from home. It's been a while, but we've just started rolling out the other episodes, which you hopefully will see, or have seen, or will be seeing, or I don't know. If I'm talking shit, I'm delusional. I'm ill, I'm dying, I've got corona. My corona. Anyway, let's crack on. So this episode, I'm going to be talking about accessories for DSLR. So there's a few things that I'm going to list off, and then basically I'm going to shoot them separately. So I'm going to go out, or I'm not going to go out, I'm going to stay inside because I'm responsible and it's the law. The accessories I'm going to be talking about are lenses, tripods, sliders, gimbals, memory cards, extra batteries. Did that sound weird? Extra batteries. I've actually got a camera case is one of them. GoPro drones. Now we're gonna have a lot of footage for that. Mainly crashing. Well, I think that's like 9 or 10 things, but there's some accessories anyway. So on the last video I talked about lenses a little bit. I suggested 35s or a 50 as your go-to prime lens. Great focal length, much more natural, more realistic to what we view. But you're more likely going to be shooting different scenes and scenarios as well. If you're out shooting landscapes, etc., you're going to need a wider lens. But if you're shooting like portraits or, you know, 85, 105, they're really nice portrait lenses. If you're shooting products, upwards of 85, 105, 135, and get a macro on that bad boy, you're good to go. So just quickly, I wanted to cover, and I know I've gone over it before, but I just wanted to go over it again just in case you haven't watched any of my other videos. It's more likely you haven't watched any of my other videos, so I'm going to cover it again really quickly. Lenses, I'm just going to go over focal length, aperture, mounts. Okay, so what is focal length? Did I say vocal or focal? What is focal length? So focal length is usually represented in millimeters, and it's the basic description of the lens. So 85, 24, 300, etc. So there's not a measurement of the actual length of the lens. It's a measurement, a calculation of an optical distance from the point where the light rays converge to form a sharp. Do you know what? Okay, I've written this down, guys. I just can't say it as a sentence because I'm suffering from corona. Did I mention I have corona? My corona. Play this up. So, as I was saying, basically focal length is the angle of view. So more the millimeters, the narrower the view. So 300 mil, and then you obviously get to 50 mil, 35, 24, 9. So it's just a measurement of the field of view. So the higher the number, the narrower the field of view. Makes sense. Next up, aperture. What is aperture? It's a good question, Dan. Okay, so you see them blades. That's essentially how aperture is measured. It's normally in increments. They're called f-stops or t-stops on a cine lens, but they're slightly different. Essentially the same thing, just measured differently. So yeah, the lower the aperture, the brighter the lens. So this is an f2. It's actually pretty sharp, pretty bright. And at the moment it's fully closed, which is f16, so it's not letting a lot of light in. Open the bad boy all the way up, you get an f2 aperture, which means all the light that it can physically let in is being lit in by the Aperture blades. That's the simplest way I can explain it. I'm sure there's a better explanation somewhere on Google. F off and do that. I'll quickly go over mounts or sensor size, crop size. So some lenses, this is a full frame lens, which just means it covers a full 35mm digital sensor, which is based on 35mm film. Other lenses, crop lenses, so APS-C or micro four thirds. A crop sensor is anything less than a 35mm standard digital sensor. The more money you spend on the lens, the better it's going to be. It kind of goes without saying. Like I said before, £3 grand on a lens. But then also at the other end of the scale, a vintage Russian lens. I think it was 46 quid from eBay, but has a really unique look and feel. Works for some things. I've got a 24mm pancake lens by Canon. Again, it's actually really good, macro-esque. It's not the best lens in the world, but it's pretty sharp. 35mm here. Canon RF 35mm. This is also a macro lens. Has its purposes, has its benefits. Got stabilizer, autofocus. Not a bad little lens. And also at the other end of the scale, I've got an 85mm 1.2. This is super fast, super bright, super sharp, but also super heavy. But I'm selling it. If anyone wants to buy it, just drop me an email. 700 quid or nearest offer. I'll take free. One accessory that is very much overlooked, and it's probably one of the best things I can suggest after lenses and stuff, is a ND filter, or a variable ND filter. So it's essentially adds a few more f-stops to your lenses. This one's variable, which basically means I can change, I think it's from f2 to f5. So as you can see, as I rotate the filter, it goes darker, letting less light in. These are great because I shoot on quite fast lenses. I like to keep the depth of field. But that often means if I'm outside and I want that depth of field, everything's going to be overexposed because it's letting the maximum amount of light in. So I need NDs or variable NDs to stop that down, so I still get the depth of field, but I'm not letting all that light in. ND filters, really good. You can get polarizers, IR, haze, you can loads of shit. Google it again. Okay, next up is tripods. Again, pretty essential accessory. I'm using one now. I use one at work. I use them for my lights. I use them for my cameras. I use them for, that's it. Lights my cameras. That's, yeah. Really useful for interview shots, or especially filming yourself. Different positions I'm sitting, you can go up, down. Self-explanatory, but it's adding that extra element of stability, professionalism. Last thing you want to be doing is shooting a interview with someone or yourself, and it's shaky as hell, or you've propped it up on a bookshelf and it falls off. Shaky footage, really unprofessional, unless it's desired, unless you're doing an action film and you're running and gunning and getting the action in. Again, same with lenses. The more money you spend, the better the tripod. You know, this little Manfrotto, it holds the Komodo camera really well. 200, 250, but you can get cheaper ones for 30 quid, 40 quid. Payload's not going to be as good, but it fits the bill if you just got a phone or a tiny little DSLR, you know, it'll do. For my work, the only time I use a tripod is stuff like this. No, this is just me, because a lot of the stuff I do is handheld. I've got, you know, years of experience kind of moving and swaying and adding that element of movement in, which I will go over in another video. I wanted to give some alternatives to tripods though. So the first one is a monopod. There's one arm. It's great for stability when you're running and gunning. I used to use it years and years ago when I was doing music videos, and even before that when I was shooting weddings. I used to prop it up, and you got that movement, but you got the stability of the monopod. That's a really good option. Limited because you have to hold the f***ing thing, so you you can't really do an interview because it'll topple over. Next one, and it might not be anything you've seen or heard of before. It's a clamp. Now you're probably thinking, Dan, how the f*** is that an alternative to a monopod or a tripod? Well guys, if you pair this with something like this, like an arm, they're called magic arms. I'll show you a proper magic arm, but put it in there, tighten it up. So then you've got the option to clamp this pretty much anywhere. So clamp it on, and then you can adjust these however you want them. Move it along there. And then this has got a little base plate on it. At the moment I've got my phone on this, as you can see. But now bear with me, this is going to be messy. Oh, clamp it on here. See, you can kind of see how it works. This is a great example if you're shooting on your phone. Something like this you can stick anywhere. I think altogether this little thing was about 60 quid, maybe 70 quid. You can obviously get a lot cheaper ones, smaller ones, but I think it's pretty cool. I've often stuck the Komodo on here and then positioned it from like a top view, so you can get tabletop view and stuff. But yeah, good, no? So I'll leave it here. Is that going to be distracting? I'm going to leave it there. F it. I'll stop this now. The next alternative to a tripod, probably won't ever use, I've only used twice, is a suction mount. Again, very similar to the magic arm. Just gonna move this out of the way. There we go. Suction mount. Only ever used it a few times, but it is an alternative if, say, you're driving or doing a lot of driving. Stick it on the windscreen. It's a bit of a shit alternative, really. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to fill it out a bit. Next one is a beanbag or a pillow or a cushion. You basically just stick your camera on a cushion or a beanbag. Makes it nice and secure. Prop it up somewhere. Golden. I can literally just make up anything. An alternative to a tripod is also a cat. If you fully insert your camera into the cat's... No, that's probably... Don't do that. Get the RSPCA on us again. It's really tough making this one because I'm sure everybody knows what a f***ing tripod is. It's not really an alternative because it is a tripod. But you can get these little mini tripods. You open up like so. Got some extendable legs. Stick your camera on that, or your light, or whatever. It's got a little rotating head. This was like £12, and it's plastic and shit, but it works. But you can also, if it's on the bottom of your camera, you can close the legs and use it as like a pistol grip. It's pretty handy. Get a bit of extra support. Mini tripod. Okay, next is the slider, and I've ordered one off Amazon. It's not a typical slider which you're probably aware of to some degree, which is like a long platform. It's on rails and you push your camera along. Lovely, beautiful, stable shots. Great for product photography. Add tons of production value to your content. But one I've gone for is just a little bit different. It's like just under 20 quid. It's like 1998. Good year. But it's a little... it's like a little skateboard which you can actually bend and you push along surfaces. So it's versatile to a degree because you're not restrained to just this little track. I thought it might add a bit more choice to your decision making. But anyway, I'm going to cut to that now. This is my alternative to a slider. See? When I ordered it, I did think it would be a lot bigger. I'm going to stick on my camera and then set up a little product photography setting so that I can give you a little demo of what you get when you use a piece of equipment like this, or how to use it. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so there's some pretty shitty examples of how to use a little slider like that for some product photography. Nothing amazing, but gave me something to do. Okay, next up is gimbals, jibs, or gyros, or stabilizers, whatever you want to call them. They're huge now. Not necessarily in size anymore. When I first started out, you know, like the Mov Pros and the Steadicam, Flycams, massive Ronins, like they're huge, but now they're huge as in they're everywhere. Phones even have gyros built in, so you don't need a stabilizer, but gimbals, they're just great for adding that cinematic look and feel, stabilizing your content. You know, if you're walking or running or following someone, it just adds so much value to your content. It's a big purchase and it might not be necessary for what you're making, but it's really good to know about. Here's some examples and me talking further about said gimbal now. So we've got some really nice sun here at the moment, but it'll probably disappear by the time I'm set up. But I'm gonna go over some like gimbal shots, just to give an example of like what kind of shots you can get using a gimbal or a Steadicam. You can see nice long hallway, nice model, and yeah, and we see what we can get. But yeah, let's do it. Okay guys, just quickly, we've gone over some like following and running and panning and some cool cinematic looking gimbal work. It's more of an idea just to give you perspective on what you can get if you go ahead and buy one of these. It wasn't anything technical or brilliant, it was just pissing about with my missus in a hallway. Next one, memory cards. You're recording video, you're taking pictures, you need a memory card. Compact flash, CFast 2. They're super fast read and write speed. This camera shoots 6K, you know, high frame rates, a lot of databytes. A lot of megabytes, a lot of data. Databytes, it's a technical term, don't look it up. Viddyoze tip. You should always make sure that your memory cards you're using are fast enough to work with your camera. If your camera is shooting a certain amount of data a second, a minute, and your cards can't read or write quick enough, it's going to drop frames, it's going to corrupt, it's going to not record. Readers. You can never have enough readers. Again, with stuff like Compact Flash or CFast 2 or the red mini mags and stuff, you need to make sure your card reader is going to be sufficiently fast enough and provide enough power to read and write and copy data. So make sure you got some readers. Boom. Next one, batteries. Extra batteries, make sure you get the right batteries. Komodo takes Canon BP batteries, come in various sizes. You got BP 955s, BP 975s, obviously different capacity, different sizes, more power, less power, longer battery time. I have a ton of batteries. Again, different, oh, that was right on my nuts. lots of different kinds of batteries, so just make sure you're getting the right ones. Need to be the right voltage to power your camera. Batteries can get expensive. The helium doesn't shoot on it, but it runs on V-Log batteries. Eats through the power quite quickly, so we've got like 8, 9, 10 of those. Biggest tip when buying batteries is don't skimp on quality. There's a lot of knockoff brands and they don't always work, or they don't have the specified power output or time that they say, because they're using insufficient parts. If you're skimping on money, you're going to get an inferior product, and that could potentially lead to losing footage or even up your camera. So just do your due diligence. Speaking of batteries, my monitor is about to die. It's flashing at me. It's normally just Tom that flashes at me. Still need to sort that out with HR. Next one, camera cases. You're going to want to protect your gear, aren't you? If you're spending a lot of money on equipment, you know, like I have, like we have at Viddyoze, you're going to want to protect it when you're traveling, or just the storage. So this is my bag of choice. You can rearrange it, take bits in and out as Velcro. It's pretty decent. It's about £350. It's not cheap, but then my equipment's 20 odd grand. At work, we, you know, upwards of 80 grand, so 350. Bit of a bargain, really. Inside here, I've actually got a little hard case for my monitor. So when I got my monitor, stupidly, I didn't have a hard case. And the second day I use it, I cracked the screen. 20 quid, little hard case. Protects it, can't go wrong. I feel like I'm trying to explain more about cases than I possibly should do. It's a case, isn't it? Next one we're gonna have a little bit of fun with. It's a GoPro. So we've got a GoPro at work, but I've ordered a really shitty, like, I think it's like 40 quid, and apparently it's 4K. It's f***ing not. The quality is terrible, but I ordered one so that we can have a little bit of fun with it. I'm gonna stick it on a drone, fly it up, and drop that motherfucker down. They're action cameras. They're meant to be chucked around and bashed about and put through shit, so that's what I'm gonna do. I spent like 40 quid, well I didn't, Viddyoze did, on this little imitation GoPro. I thought that that was a record button, obviously not. That's a record button. Okay, so got this little GoPro with the purposes of showing you how versatile they are for certain applications. This is like a crash cam style. So the whole thing is you stick it to a car, or you stick it to your bike or your helmet. Now, I don't have high hopes, I'm not gonna lie, but let's see what we can do. Okay guys, we found the spot where I need to film. So I guess let's see how this goes. Sorry little GoPro. Oh, this is so sketchy. Okay, not sure if we're recording that. It was on a GoPro. I gave the camera to Em. She's not as experienced as I am. So, successful in the fact that I threw it off the roof. Let's go down and see how it went. Gone over the footage from the GoPro. When I say I've gone over it, I've tried to go over it. The file is corrupt, so obviously when that bad boy hit the floor, it was unable to finish writing the video, so it's corrupt. So what I've had to do is buy another identical GoPro so that I can shoot something on it on exactly the same settings as what the original GoPro was filming on, so that I have a reference file to run through a repair software. So hopefully it fixes it. That's the message. The document blah 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 could not be opened. The file isn't compatible with QuickTime Player. Hang on, I need something to prop this up with. I knew these would come in handy for something. So, good news and bad news. The GoPro came, I shot something on it and I used the video file as a reference file and successfully managed to repair the corrupt file. So we do have footage of the chucking it off the roof. The bad news is it stopped just before I threw it off. So literally, as I let go of the camera, that's where it stopped being able to repair the footage. A, we know it's possible to recover f***ed up footage. B, a little bit of a pain in the ass that it didn't capture the whole point of the f***ing video, which was to utilize these cameras as crash cams. But it was like 9-story f***ing mill that I chucked it off, so you can be forgiven. But good to know you can fix it. So that's it really. GoPros, everyone. Bam. Okay, next one. Drones, you know, really f***ing cool. Again, with gimbals, they've recently taken off, and no pun, taken off. Lots of new rules coming in and laws and stuff, so you really should check out laws around drones and stuff before you get them. But again, we're gonna have a little bit of fun with the drones, get some footage, and just show you the cool production value that you can add to a piece of content you're making. So drones. These are pretty sick. This one is the Mavic Mini, the first one. There's a lot of drones about and a load of new laws that have just come in, so you really need to do your due diligence before buying a drone. I am not an expert pilot. It's not as easy as you think it might be to pick up and fly. So far, every time bar 2 that I've taken this out, the slightest bit of wind has taken it. I've lost it in a forest somewhere. It's lost it in the center of Manchester. Like a little bit of wind and it flies up and it takes it and it's crashed. I've had to get it repaired twice. Like I've replaced the propellers about 8 times. So just be aware that there is a steep learning curve. But saying that, drones add a massive production value to your footage if they're utilized correctly and if they're used at the right time. Like, you know, if you're talking about hand sanitizer and you're using a drone, it doesn't make sense, but it can add a lot of production value. So I'm just going to talk about when to use them, like opening shots, wide shots if you're doing landscape, architecture, or you're making a short film. Like there's a lot of applications for them whilst the office is empty. Just so we take it for a little flight inside. I think we should. So this DJI, the Mavic, and most of them come with a little controller, which connecting my Android phone up to. It works on iPhone just as well, if not better. I can see everything that's going on. Let's do this. It's not going to be in focus anywhere, but f*** it. That's pretty cool. I just remind you, I get paid to do this shit, so take it for a little flight. So whether you can hear me or not, I don't know, you're gonna hear the drone. It's got like a pan and a tilt, which is pretty cool, so you can do some bird's eye stuff. Sport mode, which makes it a lot quicker. And it's got a cinematic mode, which makes it a lot smoother, it follows a lot better. Makes the adjustments a lot more finer. Minute, is that a word? They're pretty cool, right? So another cool trick is you can use it as a bit of a steady cam. So because it's got a gyro and it's 3-axis gyro in it, it keeps everything steady. Okay, so that's it for drones. Again, none of this is properly scientific. I just wanted to show some examples, just talk briefly about some of this stuff. Hopefully it's been a bit more of an engaging video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether you prefer me just sitting down and talking shit, or you know, you want me to get out and about and explain stuff in real world situations. Let me know what you think, or you know, or don't. Just watch, like, subscribe, comment. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Just, I just need some friends, like. Peace.